We got Anthony Rocco Martin back here on the program, who's going to be taking on Jake Matthews at UFC Fight Night 142 on December 1st. Anthony, how are you, sir?
Good, good. How about yourself? Thanks for having me back.
No problem. It's great to talk to you. And of course, it was great getting to see you fight live after your last fight over Ryan LaFleur. You get that impressive victory there. How nice is it heading into this fight off a huge win like that?
I mean, it's just nice to actually just get right back in there. That's what I was trying to do right after the Nakamura fight. So I'm just excited. That's what I was telling, the UFC, everyone, after the Nakamura, I just want to stay busy. It's the reason why I moved up to 170 is because I don't have to cut any weight. And realistically, I feel like I could fight every couple months. So that's the idea. And I'm going to try to keep the momentum going and get after this next fight.
Where did that win rank in terms of your career victories? Because that was so impressive, and it was on such a huge card with the Conor McGregor and Khabib fight.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it was the biggest one of my career so far. He was probably my toughest opponent. I think Ryan is a world-class fighter. I think that, I was talking a little bit before the fight, but it was like I told him that it wasn't personal, and I wasn't trying to attack him personally. I just think that now is my time. I truly believe that I'm one of the best fighters in the world, and I just thought that he just ran into me at the wrong time. So, I mean, I thought it was a great fight. I think it was definitely my biggest fight. It was the biggest win I needed. I needed a big win like that. I needed a big finish. So, obviously now I'm jumping right back in there and trying to build some momentum going forward.
And one of the themes heading into this fight was the fact that Shawn Shelby basically told you and Ryan that you guys are boring as far as, your performances, which, I didn't agree with. I think a lot of other people agree with that. Did he ever say anything to you after this fight, after that performance? Because you kind of proved him wrong in that one.
Honestly, I ran into Shawn 5 in the morning. I was drinking a little bit too much, and I ran into him, and I already knew for some reason I felt like I should have bonused for sure on that fight, But granted, the first fight of the night, the statistics just show that the chance of you bonusing is pretty much slim to none. And I knew before I didn't even look because I was a little intoxicated, and I didn't even look at the bonuses, but I knew right away that they gave it to the Black Beast, knowing that. But I was like, next time I guess I got to get my ass whooped for 14 minutes and 40 seconds and then try to pull something off to get a bonus. But no, I ran into him and he said no, he was impressed with it. But like I said, is if he was that impressed, we would have had a new contract on the table right now, and I wouldn't be going into my last fight without my last fight of my contract.
The other thing, too, that was kind of neat that I saw you posted on Instagram was that you actually bet on yourself in that fight against Ryan LaFleur. How much money did you win? You don't have to give me a full amount, but it looked like you won a lot of change on that fight.
Yeah, no, it was like 12 to 15,000 was the final number after the parlays. Every single one of the bets hit, so it was kind of shocking that it seems like when you start parlaying, it's always one fight that screws you over, but obviously, I had myself in all the parlays as well, so it was a big win that night on the side as well. So it was about 12 to 15,000 was the final.
What did you do with the money? I'm sure put some of it away, but I'm sure you and Kayla probably had a nice dinner after that fight.
Yeah, no, honestly, so then I got the fight right away, and then she's fighting on New Year's, so we haven't really done too much. So we're kind of saving the money, and we want to go on vacation after her next fight. Is the idea? It's just right now it's either I'm fighting or she's fighting, so it's been tough to get out and kind of do our own thing. But we're gonna try to get away after.
Anywhere in particular you want to go travel to? Because you're in Florida. It doesn't get much nicer than that.
Yeah, no, it's really nice. We might go down to the Keys, maybe just one weekend to get away, but we want to go do something. We're not 100% sure yet, but we need a vacation, that's for sure.
I mentioned it off the top. If people might have been a little bit confused, I called you Anthony Rocco Martin. You changed your name. You're pulling a Prince over here. What was the reason for the name change?
Well, actually, Anthony Rocco Martin's my real name, so it's so it's my full name. My middle name is actually Rocco, so I think the Rocco is going to stand out a little bit more than just Tony Martin. I think that Tony Martin is just a generic name, and that's what all my friends call me is Tony. I grew up as Tony, but my boxing coach started calling me Rocco all the time, and it kind of stuck a little bit. And then Kayla and all them are saying they started hearing the Rocco, and they're all falling in love with it. And they're like, you should go with this Rocco. And I think that it'll be a better sell to the public and to all my fans as well.
Well, I think it's cool too because it kind of represents, in a way, sort of a new change for you. I mean, like I said, your last fight, it was probably the best performance of your career. You're at American Top Team now. I think it's kind of neat. This is like a new version of yourself, and why not the name change? I think it fits quite well.
Yeah, it's just I'm fully blossoming into who I am now. I think that now is my time, and realistically, I just feel comfortable just being myself, and that's the big idea with the name change is just being more myself than just this generic fighter that I was kind of felt like I was trying to be was just a guy that was just trying to go win fights, and obviously everyone knows that winning fights isn't enough anymore in the UFC. So I gotta do something to stand out.
Let's talk about this fight. It's in Adelaide, so you're actually going to be heading into enemy territory on this one. When are you actually flying down there? Because I know it takes a bit to get acclimatized and everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out there the Friday before the fight. So I think I'll get there Sunday, and then we actually fight Sunday early, 10 a.m. I think the fights start in Adelaide on Sunday. So I think I'll have a full week to get used to the time, and same thing. I'm actually a night person, so I'm gonna have to. Same thing I did in Vegas is I just stayed on the Boston time zone. So I'm gonna try to make sure that I'm waking up really early and kind of going to bed earlier, so that I get used to waking up at 10 a.m. to go fight. So I don't know where we're at on the card yet, but obviously I'm excited. It's a 30-hour trip there, which that part's gonna kind of suck, but I'm not traveling 30 hours not to go take out Jake Matthews.
One of the things I know when you travel long distances for fights is sometimes you don't get all your corners. How is your cornering situation working out for this fight?
I'm gonna have Mike Brown, Brock, and the tomato can Kayla Harrison in there.
Oh, okay, that's good. Excellent. Why do you call it the tomato can?
The tomato can? It's because she only fights tomato cans, so I'm trying to I just call her the tomato can until she starts really fighting real competition around her.
Okay, fair enough. Let's talk about Jake Matthews, 14-3 record. A guy like yourself who moved up from the lightweight division. How do you feel like you match up against him?
I feel like I'm way better everywhere. I really truly think that Jake Matthews is way over his head in this fight. I think they've given him every tomato can in the UFC. I've never seen another fighter that's fought so low of competition in the UFC. It's unbelievable to me. I think that there's not a spot that he's better than me at. I think that I'm actually shocked the UFC gave me this fight. The second they gave me this fight, there was no way I could have had a broken leg and I was taking this fight. So I think it's a great matchup for me. I don't think he has anything to offer me.
Okay. Training camp and American Top Team, I'm sure going well. Who have been some of the guys you've been working with a little bit more than others for this camp?
Honestly, I've just been working with any top guy in there. So right now, it's been Salim's fighting on the same card, so I've been training with him quite a bit. And then Diego Lima was there, so I was sparring with him. But realistically, I don't care who I'm training with because I'm just going to focus on myself going forward. And I'm not trying to worry about getting the right matchups in training. So honestly, I just have Mike Brown being my head coach, obviously, down there, and all the top guys in the world. So really, I'm just focusing on myself and getting ready to go smash Jake Matthews.
And with the distance, do you have to alter your weight cut at all just with the fact I know you're going to be traveling a bunch to get down there?
No, I can make weight in 2 days. So I walk around about 179. After my last fight, they weighed us in instantly. I weighed 176 after that last fight. And Ryan came in at 191. So, like I said, the weight's not going to matter because when it comes down to straight skill, I know I'm way better than Jake Matthews. I don't think he has anything to offer me. I think that I'm way better mentally, physically. Everywhere it goes, I'm way better. I know that. So I'm just going to go out there and do myself and handle it.
How do you see this fight playing out on December 1st as far as a prediction?
Honestly, I think he's going to be tough in the beginning because he seems like that young kid that they're always mentally tough until all of a sudden I smack him around a little bit and then he realizes like this isn't a joke. I'm not all talk. I'm coming out here to handle my business. I'm going to take him out. I think that second, third round, he's going to realize, okay, I'm in here with a different animal, and he'll start diving in, and I'll either clip him or I'll submit him. Either way, I think it's the whole fight lines up to be a finish because he's going to come after me. I know he's an aggressive fighter. He's not going to sit back and make it a boring fight. So it's going to be an exciting fight for the fans. exciting fight for everyone, but I'm going to take Jake Matthews out.
What's next for you? If you go in here and win this fight in, like I said, Matthews' backyard, so to speak, being an Aussie, this is going to be a huge win in the welterweight division. Where do you see this win sort of placing you in the division?
I have no clue. All I'm going to tell Shawn is, fuck you, pay me. You know what I mean? No matter who it is next, I'm coming out here to take people out. Really, it's just, I think I'm the best fighter in the world. I truly believe that. And I think that I just need the opportunity to prove it. And December 1st, I'm going to take Jake Matthews out. And I told him his training partner, too, I'll take him out at the same time. I forget his name right now, but I told him, Dan Kelly. Fucking Dan Kelly's talking shit to me, and I told him he's too old, he's too slow. Like, just move on. So he's talking shit. I'll knock him out, too. He has that Australian judo's fake. Like, come on. Like, that's not even real judo. So I don't even know what Dan Kelly's talking about. But realistically, I'm just going out here to take out Jake Matthews. I'm going to tell Shawn, you better send me a contract that makes up for all this bullshit that I've been put through, I feel like. So I'm just going to take Jake Matthews out and handle. That's the only thing I can control is knocking out Jake Matthews. So I'm going to take Jake Matthews out, and then we'll go from there.
What are your thoughts on the flyweight division being scrapped? How did you find out, and what was just your reaction to everything?
Yeah, I just saw on Twitter mostly was a couple of guys like Scoggins saying that they're cut. And, after you get rid of Johnson, you got to realize there's not many. Well, how many of those fighters are there? It seems like there's the same 15 flyweights in the world have always been in the mix, and no one can break through into stardom. You know what I mean? So I get why you're cutting them, but now is the time to make that 165-pound division if that's what they want. The UFC loves titles, so they make up phantom titles all the time. So for them to take away a title doesn't make any sense to me. So the only conclusion I have from it is that they're making a 165-pound division here soon.
Okay, and what were your thoughts on the Askren for Demetrius Johnson trade? What'd you think of that whole thing?
Well, honestly, it didn't make a lot of sense in the aspect of the Askren doesn't make any sense with it. But that part, he hasn't fought for years, a year or two or whatever now, and I feel like ONE FC really didn't even care about him, obviously, or why wasn't he still fighting? Mostly when he was talking before, like they're paying him ridiculous money, so why wasn't he fighting there? I just thought they thought this was a clean way to get rid of Demetrius and to clear out the division. So I thought it was just, again, the UFC was just using their acting like this is a big thing, for all of MMA, but really this was just in the best interest of the UFC. They didn't care about anything other than trying to get rid of the 125-pound division. So I think that's the only reason why they got rid of it. It wasn't to get Ben Askren. Believe me, they weren't like thinking, oh, we need Ben Askren. They were thinking we need to get rid of the 125-pound division, but everyone thinks, oh, this is a huge trade for MMA. No, like, first off, both fighters had to agree to it. There's no way that you just have this trade without that. And it's another ploy by the UFC that they're just making sure that they're covering their asses. And again, they cut all these fighters. They probably have 2 fights, right? Listen to this. This is what I don't understand with the UFC. Dana White said to the Diaz brothers all the time, oh, you signed the contract. You need to honor the contract, right? These guys are signing 4-fight contracts. You're cutting them with 2 fights. Are they paying them out? Guaranteed not. These guys are walking with 2 fights, not getting paid money. So the UFC's they're not honoring their contracts. So these guys are getting cut. They're not getting paid. And realistically now, Bellator doesn't have the 25-pound division. UFC doesn't have the 125-pound division. The ONE FC, they're not going to sign 30 125ers. They don't have enough shows. So these guys need to all start bulking up or something, or try to get in that midget wrestling or something. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. This is going to be a great card. It's coming up here December 1st. It is UFC Fight Night 142. Tony, Anthony, I should say, sorry, I really appreciate the time, man. Just to remind people where they can find you.
Call him Rocco.
Yeah, Rocco, Anthony Rocco. There you go. Where can people find you on social media? If you got any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours.
Switched up my handles as well. So Tony Rocco Martin's my Twitter, and then everything else is Anthony Rocco Martin. And realistically, I have no sponsors. I'm just coming out here to take out Jake Matthews. Kayla Harrison's probably my biggest sponsor, you know what I mean? My big headache as well. So we want to talk.
Don't ever call me a tomato can. Or you're going to find out what it feels like.
Ask him about that 6 days in a row.
A sponsor. Ask him who won Uno last night. Just
Who?
ask. Just ask that. Final question.
Did you lose?
She won the first time in the whole week.
Ah, he lost. Yes, he lost.
I won 6 days in a row. She was almost. Honestly, she was on suicide watch. I was worried about her. I was like, calling out. Like, hey, listen, we need someone to come in here and take care of her.
How does it go? Everyone only cares about your last fight, right? So
that's true, yeah.
Who won? Okay. Okay. Just checking.
Anyway, she's on a tomato can. She's the tomato can crusher.
All right.
Right.